The whole Brock Purdy experiment. And you look at his numbers last night, and you know, I watched the game and you watched the game, and, you know, he was 17 of 26, 217 yards, a couple of TDs, no interceptions. But it's interesting now. Let's be critical thinkers now. How long will Brock Purdy's run last? We know they're really good. We know they in Philadelphia look like the two teams in the NFC. Dallas is back. Now, they say once a defensive coordinator gets 4 games of film on you, they see the holes. They see the weaknesses. So that's coming up. Here's what I see. And this is sort of what they are. Their 3 best offensive players are Kittle, Debo, and McCaffrey. And they all get banged up. Debo is currently banged up. So here's the hole I see for the Niners. Now, because they have Brock Purdy, they're gonna dive in on 2 or 3 things he trusts. They're becoming very Christian McCaffrey reliant. He had 26 carries last night. At this point in his career, he shouldn't be carrying the ball 26 times. And George Kittle was the number 1 wide receiver. So now, because Debo's out, they're going heavy on McCaffrey and heavy on Kittle, who I love and you love and the world loves. But these guys can't be heavy usage guys in the regular season. And because Debo is out and Purdy is a young kid. So Geno last night had 5 different guys with 4 more catches. 13 of the 17 completions for Brock Purdy went to 3 guys, one of them McCaffrey. So they're becoming incredibly reliant on Christian and Kittle because of Debo's injuries. Also, the Commanders are coming up, a very physical football team. They're going to know, take Kittle out. You know, Ron Rivera and that defense, really smart cats. People are going to start taking things away from Brock Purdy. So it is interesting. What we love about them is their physicality. But now with Debo out, they're going heavy McCaffrey and heavy Kittle. It's not a criticism, it's their reality. And Brock Purdy is a young quarterback, right? Geno's been in this league long enough. He sees the overall field probably a little better. He mixes it up. He becomes a little less reliant on 1 or 2 players. But that said, it's a small criticism, it feels like, because this looks like the Ray Lewis Ravens defense. I mean, they're playing 1980s football. Seattle looked like they were getting pushed around for mostly 3.5 hours. Seattle's offensive line is pretty good. Could not block Bosa. Could not block the Niners. Bowling ball coming down an alley. Get out of the way. It feels a little bit like that Tony Dungy Tampa team. It feels like the Ravens. But the difference is, with this Niner team, is whereas the Chicago Bears of 1985 offense was pretty simplistic, and the Dilfer Super Bowl Ray Lewis champion offense didn't have dynamic players, they're going to get Debo back. Between Debo and Jennings and Kittle and McCaffrey, it's the perfect balance of this tough, intimidating, physical, unblockable defense and this super smart and clever and finessey offense. I mean, that double fake screen to George Kittle, I guarantee you their coaches all over college and pro football stealing that thing. Got their notepad out watching that game. So it's a really interesting combination. Usually the physical teams, the Ravens with Ray Lewis, the Bears in 85, kind of a simplistic offense. They play not to lose. These guys got a lot of skill. I do worry that they're becoming very McCaffrey, Kittle reliant with a young quarterback and Debo out. Cross your fingers on the health of McCaffrey and George Kittle, 2 players I absolutely love. I love Debo Samuel, but this style of football, they literally punish you on offense like most defenses do. They're as physical on the offensive side as the defensive side. The games for the Niners just look different. Outside of that second half against Kansas City, teams feel like they're waving the flag by the end of the game. Let's just get into the hot tub. Let's get into the ice tub. Let's get into some tub. We're worn out. I was reading an article this morning, and you know I like Derek Carr. I think he's a top 12 quarterback in the league. Some don't, I do. He may be closer to 12 than 1, but I like him. He's an adult. He's durable. He's accurate. So people are saying Derek Carr's future with the Raiders could hinge on the final 4 games. So I've always believed, you know, the media critics like who they like, and everybody's got an agenda. If you want to know how talented you are or talented anybody is, who wants to hire you on an open market? If Ryan Day of Ohio State was on the open market, he would not get an NFL head coaching offer. He would get some college offers, but he's now getting pushed around by Michigan. If Jim Harbaugh was on the open market, he'd get offered 7 NFL jobs and virtually any college job that was open. If Saban retired tomorrow, Harbaugh called Alabama, he'd get the job. Ryan Day would not. So you want to go back and forth on who's the better coach. How good you are is not defined by what fans say or the critics say. It's defined by you're on the open market. Who's interested? Okay, Derek Carr is going to have a market. For all of the critics of Derek Carr, the Giants are going to kick those tires on that car. The Colts are going to kick the tires. Washington's going to. Saints are going to. Jets are going to. Tampa will if Brady retires. Carolina will. That's 7 teams. Brady had 2 offers when he left New England. Chargers, Bucks. And the other thing that helps Derek Carr is Jimmy Garoppolo's injury. He has no market. Carson Wentz no longer has a market. Baker Mayfield is viewed as a bridge quarterback. So are the Raiders going to move off Derek Carr? My hunch would be no. It's a total guess. I have no insight. But if you do look at their final 4 games of the season, it's very interesting. They play New England this week. That's a go-either-way game. Then they go to the Steelers. At home, I'd love it, but at Pittsburgh, never know. Then it's Niners and Chiefs. So right now, they have the 8th pick in the NFL draft. But after that schedule, let's say they lose to New England Steelers and they sit Derek Carr. So let's look at the teams above them. This is where they are right now, and I think they're going to lose at least 2 of their final 4 games. Texans take a quarterback. Seahawks take a quarterback. Bears won't. I do not think the Lions should take a quarterback. They have major issues through the interior of that defense, and I think the defensive tackle for Georgia is going to fall to the Lions' lap, and they should draft him. Eagles won't take a quarterback. I don't think Arizona will. The Colts will. So, Panthers will. Falcons will. So those teams may have to move up, but the Raiders may not have to move up to get it because Niners is a loss. Chiefs would be a loss. At Pittsburgh's go either way. Now, I tend to think they'll beat New England this weekend, but if they don't, you could find the Raiders at that number 5 spot, and then the decision on Derek Carr gets very, very interesting because there's no big dead cap hit if he leaves, and you could trade him. He's got an absolutely robust market and at least get a first and a second. I think I would give up a first and a second for Derek Carr in a heartbeat. This whole league's quarterbacks now. So the Raiders are in an interesting position where they've got really key pieces. They have their left tackle for the future, star running back, star receiver, tight end, slot receiver, pass rusher. They've got some real pieces here, some really nice pieces. So it's an interesting time for the Raiders. I would stay with Derek Carr and fix the defense. But if they lose 3 of the next 4, and knowing the Raiders, they'll be close losses because it feels like every game they're in is close. Suddenly they're at the 5th pick. And I think the Lions would be out of their mind to draft a quarterback. If you're watching the Lions and you think quarterback's their issue, you're not watching the games. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.